Well, hello and welcome to Tea Talk. I'm Lady O, and I am here to talk to you and bring to you some new information that you are surely going to want to have. So this is our time when we share with people who have not made it on just yet, because they'll want to hear it. And let me tell you what why they want to go ahead and sign on. This is February, and it's our love month. So during this month, we celebrate love. Those that are in love and those that were so in love, they decided to get married. And we have a wonderful conference that we have every year that's called our Two Becoming One conference. And we partner with the EXO conference and bringing in some of their speakers virtually. So anyway, we're going to be giving you all the information about what's going to be going on at the conference. So let me tell you about who should come to this conference. If you have been married for any time, 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, 50 years, you need to be at this conference. One of the things that we say, because we gave the title to Becoming One, because you're both individuals, but you're always, until the day God calls you home, you're working on becoming two people, becoming one person. So we want to make sure that if you have been married any time in your life, you need to be there. There's going to be something for you to learn. And if you've got everything down, come help us that don't have it down yet. Come share. We'll be happy to hear what your secrets are, and for you to get some nuggets that you may find that are new, that may be some good ideas of things you could do. Also, those of you who are thinking about getting married, you've got that special one, you think you're it, you've got your wedding day set, or you're thinking about setting that wedding day, you need to come out and learn some things before you say, I do. So those are the people that need to come. What ages? All ages, no matter if you are a blended family. We've got something very special for blended families. So that's a big thing nowadays, that people are getting married for the second time and some for the third time. We'll have some sessions there that are for you as well. So that's who needs to come. So why don't you go ahead and find that person that you know that, well, maybe your child who's looking at someone really, really seriously on getting married in the next year or two. Have them come on. Maybe it's that couple that that's having some problems. They're about to say, I don't. They need to be on. Those that are just trying to refine their marriages, they're just, in love, but also needing to share and bounce things off from couples who have been through what they've been through, just sharing and sharpening each other. They need to get on. So I know there's quite a few people that I've told you about. And so giving you enough time for you to share with them, as well as pick up that phone and text and say, girl, you need to be on there. You need to bring your husband on there. Nobody's going to be shamed. We're going to all be helped. And when we leave there on Saturday morning, we're going to be ready to say, I do again, and work on our marriages. So go ahead and share and get someone on the phone on Tea Talk now. Now, today I have some wonderful people that have been there for the EXO conferences and Two Becoming One conferences for years. They've come again and again, and they've come again and again because they were helped. And they love coming out, sharing and learning and growing so that they can find better ways and more ways of becoming one. So why don't you go ahead and, like I said, get people on. And without further ado, I'm going to ask Bishop Ogletree to come first, because he and I were the creators of this Two Becoming One marriage ministry that we've had for a long time. And so I want him to come on and share first about the vision, what he has found over the years, and just to share with us a little bit. Bishop, can you come on? Let's welcome Bishop John Ogletree Jr. to Tea Talk.
Well, it's good to be back again with Tea Talk, and especially in this season, as Pastor Johnny has designated February as the month of love for us. And he'll be preaching on love, and we we'll again have our XO conference that, as you said, Lady O, that we partner with Jimmy Evans and his ministry, is because we value marriage, and we see it as one of God's calling on our lives to do what we can to strengthen the marriage relationship. And we've been fortunate this year to be married 50 years. And we've gone through the ups and downs of marriage. We've been through the storm and through the rain and sunshine and everything. And we are blessed to be able to share our experiences, personally, our experiences, and what we've seen, how the Lord, his word works in marriage. So we're looking forward to the fellowship on this Friday evening and this half a day Saturday. We're looking forward to the deposits, because every marriage, no matter how many years a couple has been married, needs some deposits. You never graduate. You never get your PhD in marriage. You still have to keep learning and keep putting those things that you learn to practice, and having a lot of forgive me's and hey, I'm going to do better. And we all are in this thing together.
Thank you, Bishop. And I'm so glad that you said, shared how long we've been married. On April 14th will be 50 years. And the fact that we're still learning, we're still growing, the things we need to know is people that you need to be around that can encourage you to keep on keeping on, to give you some, if you forget, some reminders of, how to stay strong. But I think that really does open it up very well with saying that, if you've been married for a long, long time, you still need to be here, and you can still learn. So thank you for that, Bishop. I think one of the things too that you and I will be doing is a session and it's going to be a surprise session, but I guarantee you it's going to be for every age. So I want to just encourage all of you young couples. Now, y'all want to, be up under people who are young, but they don't know what they're doing. If they've been married 5 years, 10 years, if they're not even married. So you definitely need to be up under somebody who has been there, done that, and still doing it. So I wanted to just encourage you to go ahead and say, oh, they've been married so long, they're not going to be relevant. Oh, yeah, we know what's going on. We've got young kids children who are married. I'm going to bring them up in a minute too, to talk to you about the other generation. But one of the best things you can do in your marriage, and hear me out, you need to have a senior couple who has been through the storms and rain and are still together. You need a couple who knows the word and can give you the word and pray you through those difficult times, because marriage is not easy, but it's doable. We said we are a model couple, not that we're perfect, but God uses us to model what husband and wife and how to get through. He uses us as a model. So we're happy to share some of our experiences. And we also have a time of question and answer, and you can ask us anything. It is anonymous. You put your little question inside the box, and Bishop and I will answer that question no matter what it is. Okay. So Bishop, what would you say? Just give them a little tidbit about what they're going to be experiencing from your standpoint of what you bring to the table as being a senior marriage consultant and as a married person in this season.
Well, what we'll try to do is help them understand God's purpose for marriage. And there is a purpose for marriage. There is a way to please God as well as please each other. And that's what any Christian or marriage ministry should be about, helping the couples understand they can do it God's way, please him, but also learn that his way will help you to please each other. So that is the basic foundation of what we'll be trying to do.
I like that when you said, when you please God, you're going to please each other. And I think that's the biggest thing we've learned kind of in my marriage. When you try to please self all the time, then you're not going to please God. And you're certainly not going to be able to please your spouse, and you won't be able to make it in marriage that many years. Now, Bishop, can you just say, and I won't put words in your mouth, but when, we've been married a long time, and I know there were times that were difficult when we wanted to quit, give up, or just felt like, I don't know if this is going to work. Can you, hindsight, looking back, say that it was worth it to stay together? And what would we have missed, or can you think about what life would have been like had we not pleased God and stayed in the marriage?
Well, sure. As I said, doing it God's way is very beneficial. We could have divorced back in year 7, year 10, something like that, and we would have missed out on half of our children, probably many of our grandchildren would have missed out on partnership and serving the Lord together as a couple. There's a lot of things you miss out on if you fall for the trap and try to do it your way, and not God's way. So the blessed thing is you hang in there, you mature, and I had a lot of maturing I needed to do, and you had some maturing that you needed to do, and we made it through.
Yeah, I like the word you said, trap, because that's really what it's all about. See, Satan knows your future. He knew that God had down the line for us First Metropolitan Church and all the people that we impact in our church, in our communities, our families, all of those people. The trap was for us to fall in the trap so that God's perfect will for us would not have come to pass. And when I sit back and I look at the things that God has allowed us to accomplish as a couple, the things that our children have been able to be exposed to and become, because, when children are affected by a divorce, the trajectory of where they go and what they can do is limited or it's changed. So our children may not have been as stable emotionally, and not saying we're all stable emotionally, but it could have been worse. And so when you change and decide to separate and divide your family by divorce, it is affecting you and your children's future and the plan that God has for you in the future. So we have to stay in there to see what God has for us. And we both can say that it is a great reward, but you have anything worth fighting for, which is your marriage. And it's worth it. So it's worth fighting for, is what I'm trying to say. And, that's not going to always be an easy thing to do. So, well, thank you for sharing that with us, Bishop. And we'll come back, so don't go away. I want to bring in the next group, which will be, a lot of people say, well, I need to talk to somebody a little bit younger. So we're going to be talking now to our son and his wife, Pastor Johnny. He's our newly elected pastor, First Metropolitan Church. And he and his wife have been married 23 years. How many years, y'all?
24 years.
24 years, okay.
25 years. Yeah, 25.
25 years.
25, okay, I see. That time just flies by when you're having fun, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to talk about you because, of course, Johnny grew up in our home and watched us as a married couple. And then, of course, Quinita had her grandparents as married couples. So, and they've been married 25 years. So, tell us a little bit about your experiences in marriage some things you've learned, and even because I know you've been to the Two Becoming One married couple. I think you've been for what, about most of the time that you've been married, right?
Mm-hmm.
So y'all just talk about what it is you're expecting, or you've gleaned already from the conference.
I would say, looking at the conference, they always have a wide variety of speakers that come from different areas who talk about marriage, talk about mental health, talk about different stages of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Because always we have to realize that we're in different stages, different seasons, and they make sure to have a wide variety of speakers who talk about the different seasons of marriage, so that you can be looking at the seasons you're in and where you might be getting ready to go.
Yeah, and all of the speakers are also very good at being transparent. So talking about the different struggles that they have in their marriage, and then also giving you some clues on how they have applied God's word. And then sometimes it's not always God's word that they apply towards their marriage. Sometimes it's different techniques that they may have found in educational journals, things that they may bring in and say, you know what, this is not a spiritual principle, but at the same token, these are some tools that will help us in our marriage to be a stronger couple. And so I like that as well. Then the other thing I would talk about is the different perspectives, because you get couples from all different backgrounds, from all different experiences. And so they bring in a different experience and a different perspective on marriage, and have different experiences in marriage. Not everyone has had struggling seasons, but everyone has had to work together to be partners to build something.
Well, I like that you just said that, both of you, I think y'all both said the same thing, that there is a great diversity of people that are going to speak into your life, of couples with different seasons. So there will be a variety of speakers there, and they are very transparent. I think that's really cute. That, when you come to a conference, you don't want people saying, well, I had the best marriage, we never had an argument in our life, and you just need to read the Bible. No, they get down and tell you what they've gone through, so you can identify and you can have hope for you to go there too. Can you share with me any speaker? I know you guys are going to be there, right? And you're going to be talking. Have you decided on your subject matter yet?
We haven't talked about that yet, but in the past, it has been really great. But it's not only the speakers that will be watching that are transparent, but First Man has a very, very good atmosphere of people who love to be supportive of one another. So one of the other great things you talked about being paired with other couples is that there are some older couples there that are very secure in their marriage and don't mind sharing some of the struggles that they've had and the difficulties they had working through those struggles. So you're not just hearing speakers on a screen or on a television set, but you also have people live there in person when we do the Q&A, when we break up into, we haven't decided what we're going to do yet this year, but however we break up, you can guarantee that those sessions will be ones where you can speak not just to the host, but you'll also be able to speak to the community and to be able to gain some insight on what you can do to better your marriage, to be a better husband, to be a better wife.
It also helps you build a support system.
Yes.
What happens often is we get into marriages, we get isolated, and we forget that there are other marriages out there that can help support us and other people who can mentor us around us. And so being an EXO gets you to be able to see that there are other people who've gone through what you're going through, and they can help you give you the tools that they help them to succeed and help them to keep going forth.
Yeah.
That's good, Q, because here's the deal. Everybody needs somebody they can pick up the phone and call, because we all have those moments where we just need to talk about this. I need to vent, or I need advice. I'm about to do this because that happened, and you can, in confidence, talk to that person so they can talk you down off the cliff from jumping over, or say that, this was the better way you could have done this, or here's some ways. So we need to have mentors. We need people who can do that. And at First Met, we definitely have that. And we're going to talk to Deaconess Jackie in just a minute and talk about the things we have at First Met to help you beyond just today. I know many times we used to go to conferences and they give us all this stuff. When we go back home to our church and there's nothing there for us to help us pass that one day where we felt good and felt like we could do it, and we got back home and something happened and we're like, okay, just forget about that conference, it didn't work. But I think that's really a great thing, to come and get some mentors. There'll be people there from all ages, so you're going to have some young people there that you can chit chat with that can relate. But when you get in those situations where you need advice, you don't need to be calling somebody who's been married less years than you or the same amount of years as you. You need somebody who's got a little bit more experience. I think you're right. Come and make some new friends, meet some different people who can help you whatever season you're in. So let me ask you this, Pastor and Dr. Q, what things have you learned over these years that you can say has helped you to keep your marriage strong, or help you to, when you wanted to throw in the towel? I don't know, maybe y'all never wanted to throw in the towel or wanted to kind of say some words to each other that we can't see on the air.
Well, Q and I, our relationship was based upon friendship. So we don't really have an issue using unwholesome words. But we did go through a really, really strong season. We're going to talk about this in the sermon tomorrow, where we felt like our marriage may end. And it was really just a differing of opinions on career paths, whether to move our family or not to move our family. And even though we were still very, very much in love with each other and great friends, it was the situation that was there that seemed kind of impassable because we were in disagreement about what to do with the direction of our family.
And I think what helps is the idea that you can communicate. If you cannot communicate, then you cannot come to agreement. You cannot discuss. You cannot see somebody else's perspective because you're not communicating. So if I say what's foundational to marriages is being able to communicate with your partner.
Yeah.
Communicating when you're happy, communicating when you're sad. But if you don't communicate, you can't expect them to know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
They don't have X-ray vision and know your heart hurt. They can't see that. You have to be able to communicate it and discuss it and be able to share. Go ahead.
Well, we preached earlier, right? So we could actually talk about it. And we were in a season where Quinita had been offered a job in another state. And I had, when she started her PhD, I had agreed that at the end of 4 years, if she would finish in 4 years, that we could move the family. And so the end of 4 years came, she did what she said she was going to do. And then she wanted to move the family to another state. And I just didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. And so it caused a lot of challenges in our marriage because it wasn't just that we were disagreeing about what to do with the family, but until that moment, I had always honored my word. And so now we're in a position where I've given my word that she can do something. And then we're in a season where now I'm saying, I know what I said, but I don't think this is the right thing to do for our family. Right. So it was a very, very big challenge. You can give the sum of it. We came back and we sat in the driveway
and just talked on that, going back to how we went back to where we started, which is foundationally being able to talk through anything. So that meant being able to hear what you need to say, hear what I need to say, and being able to talk through something. And so I think for us, always has been foundational is our friendship, that we're friends first. So if I can't sit there, I need to be able to talk to you so we can sit down and we can figure out what's going on, your perspective, my perspective, and then we can figure out what decisions we want to make from there.
Right. I think that's really great what you guys said, and hopefully you guys will, maybe your session, I know you're still looking to see exactly what you're going to do, but how do you communicate? I think that's one of the biggest problems that married couples have is how to communicate. How do I talk without killing you with my words? How do I talk without listening, without getting so emotional that I'm running out of the room or I can't hear and sit there and face what we're talking about? And I think the other thing too, that, you guys just kind of hindsight is 2020. Sometimes we may make promises to our spouses, but if that's not what God said, you cannot be God. You have to understand that sometimes those things change. Sometimes you missed God, or sometimes you thought you heard or whatever, but we have to stay real close to God and friends so we can figure out, was that God or was that us? Because it really could mess up our future. And, you all just getting installed in as pastors, that would have just really destroyed what God had for you guys. So thank y'all for being transparent and sharing that. And hopefully y'all will talk some about how to communicate, because I think there are some skills to communicating that people do. And, when we do our marriage counseling, that's the first thing I teach people, how to communicate. And it's a skill thing that works when you're going through those counseling sessions. But most of them tell me, I never, ever was taught how to communicate. So I think somewhere along the line, we're going to get that. So if you got the communication skill down, and if you can be friends, so that's another thing. We're married, we're bed partners, but we're not friends. I don't really like you, and you don't really like me. I love you, but I really don't like you, So we're going to be covering some of those things. We'll get that. I know tomorrow, well, it might not be, let's see. I know you guys are doing a session this month on marriage. So what
Yes,
is your
the message that we preached this morning is from a Beyonce song, and it's called "Let Me Upgrade You." And in this message, the message that we preached today at 8 and at 11 o'clock, we do talk about the importance of walking in agreement, and a part of that is communication, because communication is very, very key to walking in agreement. And one of the first things that we start off talking about is how a relationship has to begin with a genuine amount of respect for one another.
Wow.
So you have the respect for God, but then you have a mutual respect for each other. So we talk about the mutual submission and how that submitted, and sometimes is seen as a negative thing, but really it's about the commitment that you have to make the relationship work, to say, hey, we are mutually submitted to each other in covenant under God to move forward as a family and to do the things that are necessary to make sure that we stay together and honor the covenant, just like God has honored the covenant with us. And so that is some of what we talked about this morning. And it may be something that we can look forward to in the future. The message that we're going to preach on the third Sunday, we're going to look at David and Jonathan, and going to be talking about not marriage, but going to be talking about having covenant and also intimacy in friendships, and how a good friend can help keep you from doing some things that are very dangerous, can protect your life, and can help you make some wise decisions that'll help make sure that you end up on the throne that God has for you.
And I think you said the key word there, Pastor Johnny, a good, wise, mature friend. Sometimes we have friends who are immature, and they end up doing the fool with us. Yeah, man, do this, do that, do that. I wouldn't have that, I wouldn't take that. That is not going to help your marriage. You need to get some wise, mature people who can help, like I said, talk you off the edge when you're just going off. You don't need nobody pushing you on off even further or dividing your marriage. So well, this is really great. And I know that they can go, even though you've already preached it, they can go to My First Met Live and rewatch it again. So some of you need to go and rewatch that. And there'll be other marriage messages that will be on there through the month of February. So please go back and see those. Okay, so next I want to bring in Sister Jackie Dugas. Now, she and her husband, Elder Al, like I was saying before, you go to these conferences, you hear all of this stuff, and you come back and you have nobody to help you walk it through. She and her husband are over the marriage groups at First Metropolitan. We have several of them. Of course, we'll have the emails and all of the things up on the chat room or on the line here. myfirstmet.com. That's where you're going to be registering and finding out more information about these community life groups. So let's welcome Sister Jackie Dugas to Tea Talk. Welcome, Sister Jackie.
Hi, everybody. So glad to be here. I sat and learned so much just listening to Bishop and Pastor Johnny and Dr. Q. It's just, I'm excited. I'm excited for what we're gonna eat and sup with on Friday. The good, not just the good food, but the good teaching and the good word. So yeah, I'm excited, and I hope that the couples that first met invite their couple friends and their couple friends that are engaged, or their boo. I wish that they all would come, because you're really going to be blessed.
Exactly. So with that, before we forget, Sister Dugas, can you tell us how to register and tell us a little bit about what we can expect there at the conference, which starts this Friday at 6 o'clock?
Yes, get there early because our meal will be served at 6 o'clock sharp, you guys.
Yeah,
There's
a
nowhere in,
delicious romantic meal. It's gonna be so good because I
Yeah.
hear Bruce is cooking the food, and so we'll talk about that. Our Pastor Johnny didn't talk about Bruce, but the
Yeah.
food is gonna be so good. So be on time.
Be on time and be excited. You know, this is your Friday date night. Just look
Mhm.
at it that way. And it starts at 6 with a beautiful meal with beautiful people from the First Met family and the friends and family that we are going to invite. It's only $65 a couple. There's nowhere in Houston that you can go out on a couple's night, on your date night, and the two of you can eat for $65. So come on out, dress like you want to, dress like you want to be hugged and caressed and get that attention that you so much deserve. I've been going to the EXO conference ever since I've been at First Met, and that's been at least 25 years.
Mhm.
And I heard some of the comments. I can tell you this is so true. I remember when my husband and I hit a bumpy part and we went running to Pastor and Lady O. And Pastor O and Lady O, the first thing they said to us was, take the D word off the table. You can't
Yeah.
even say it in our midst. So I looked at my husband, he looked at me, and I wanted to say, we don't come to the wrong place.
No divorce in this camp. We're not gonna talk about divorce. Let's
And
get this
since then,
together.
and that was about, I want to say that was about 20 years into our marriage. Our kids
Yeah.
were still young.
Mhm.
And we've been married 46 years now. So it wasn't funny at that time.
No,
But
it
when
was
I
not.
look back on it, I said, and then I had a little scheme. I said, well, Lady O, I'm going to Baton Rouge. I'm going to do this. And she said, she told me, I'm going with you. And when Johnny and Quinita were talking about accountability, you better have you accountability partner, a married couple that's more mature than you, that will give you sound advice and tell you, not only are you not going, if you go, I'm going with you. I'm gonna make sure you stay on the straight and narrow. But I just want you guys to know that you're going to have a ton of fun. You are going to learn what thus said the Lord in your marriage. And I think you'll need that and you'll benefit from it. We're all in different seasons in our marriage. And I tell you what, we've been through it all, the good, bad, and the ugly, but it's been worth it. It
Yeah.
really has. I can remember at one EXO conference, Pastor Johnny, Al and I, gave a very transparent testimony about, the trouble that we had gotten in our marriage. Pastor Johnny's eyes got so big, I said, oh my goodness, if he was a hoot owl. But what I think he was saying, what I felt that he was saying, y'all survive that, y'all can
Right.
survive anything.
Mhm.
But, I just felt so comfortable and so at home in the community that God had placed us in, and was so grateful that we decided we were going to go to the EXO conference. And if the setting was right and the opportunity was there, God was going to open us up and have people to know there is life after hardship in a marriage. And it is.
Exactly. And I think probably what I think Pastor Johnny was thinking too, and people, when you become transparent like that, I think the first thing they think like, I never thought they had any problems in their marriage. I thought they had the perfect marriage. So you're going to find out that there is no perfect marriage. It is two
Exactly.
people trying to become one, and that's not a normal thing. But we can show you how to make it work, how to get through those bumps in the road, which will
Yeah.
come. I don't care how perfect your marriage is. I don't care how much y'all in love and y'all can't do without each other right now. There will come times. So Sister Jackie, we're going to have Friday night. We'll be there at 6 or a little before. And I'm
Mhm.
glad you mentioned the dress, because this is something that people don't know. Typically on that Friday night, we are dressed up like we trying to attract our husbands again, attract our wives. We're gonna look cute.
We
So don't
dating
put on your
again, right?
jeans and your t-shirts, okay? We looking cute. And they said, nobody didn't tell me we're supposed to dress like that. Yes, it is a date, okay?
It's a date night.
Yeah, and so we're gonna have a lot of fun, icebreakers, and we'll have some gifts. But we'll have the
Yeah.
food, we'll have the Skype coming in, the vicarious other speakers who are dynamic across this nation. And yeah, all of these are some of the names of the people that are going to be there. Thank you, Sister Tish. And you can see they're all different races and all different
Right.
ages and stages. So you don't want to miss it. This is First Metropolitan Church. It's this Friday. So get there, about 5:45 so that we can be ready to eat at 6 o'clock. We're going to be saying that prayer and we're going to get
Right.
ready. Now, Bruce, that's going to be doing the food. He is the former cook who was on Sweetie Pies, and he can do that soul cooking. So it's not going to be a salad and a piece of chicken, okay? You have some good food that you're going to enjoy. We have chocolate covered strawberries. We can do the romantic things and some romantic little games for you. That'll be fun. We'll also have some sessions where we'll probably break out, and some will go either by ages of how long you've been married, how old you are.
Mhm.
But I guarantee you, everybody's going to get something that's for them. Now, Sister Jackie, I need you to talk to our group about after they leave the conference, we have a ministry that is strategically put in place so that every couple that first met and in the community, you don't have to be a member of the church, every couple that needs help, that they have these mentors. Tell us about the community life groups for the couples that first met.
Well, I know the most genuine and outstanding one is United. That's the one.
Is that yours?
That's the one that my husband and we have couples that are younger than us. We have TS and his wife, Jamie. We have the Craigs. We have
all these couples are about what, in their 20s or 30s, somewhere in there.
no, they're about in their 30s and
30s.
40s.
Yeah.
But they're younger than we are.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the connection is that they can relate to where we've been and the struggles that we've had and the transparency with which we have community.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
a safe place. I
it
think
is a
that's what you
safe
guys
place.
do, Sister Jackie. You make it a safe place where not only are you asking them to share their things, but you're being transparent as well. So they feel that mentorship and that love and that safe place. So they're able to learn and grow, but also be able to share and feel secure in this place. So tell us about what the community life group does. Where does it meet?
We meet particularly on Tuesday nights at 7:30 via Zoom. We have found that this is most convenient because they all have children and we don't. We're empty nesters. We now have grandchildren, but they are involved in their children's lives. And this time, that 7:30 on Tuesday nights seemed to work best for their schedules. So they're not pressed to say, well, I got to get to football or I've got to get to dance or ballet
Get
or
a
whatever.
babysitter. Yeah.
Right. They can do it right from their home. And then we intentionally schedule an outing twice a year where we can get together and have community and do those things, even though we're all in different seasons of our marriage. We find a common ground where we can come together. And so far it's been bowling. Every family loves to bowl. That's part of the community life group. And we always say what goes on in United stays in United. And that's another reason why I know at our community life session, the welcome and thank you that we had is one thing there was a need to grow other community lives out of your community life group. So our aim now is to recruit new couples, but with the intention to have them break off and start a new community life group.
Perfect.
So it's all ages and all stages in my community, in our community life group, and we're called United.
Right, and that's kind of unique because usually it's all the young people want to be together or the older people want to be together. But your group is unique in that they're all ages and stages in there, and I know some of them in there. And I think it's just amazing that God has drawn young people to you. Everybody doesn't have that gift, and I have young people that are drawn to me. I thank God for it because you need to be able to be comfortable in the group. Another word you said besides a comfortable is a confidentiality. The things that go on in there, you're not going to find them being shared with. Well, number one, it's a small, intimate setting. So it's not a
Right.
bunch of people in there. You get to become a part of their family and you start doing life together beyond just a Bible study class.
That is correct.
So
And
how
what
many people in your group do you?
there are 6 couples.
Six
So
couples.
that's 12 of us. No, I'm sorry. We have 7 couples. There are
Yeah,
14.
about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And what we have learned over the years, and we've been together for about 3 years now, so not really that long, is that we give each other grace so much. We extend each other grace when it's your turn, because we rotate the teaching schedule so that a variety of skills are being developed, because I know you said it's so important that we are coaching them as well. And when someone doesn't hold up on their end of teaching the class, we don't throw them out. We don't kick them to the curb. We just say, well, next time we're going to move you to the end and let you do the last lesson, and somebody else did your lesson. So we have to really be careful, to extend grace to one another, because everybody's life is busy and we do have challenges and life happens to us. And
so you cover them. If they can't make their assignment, they can't just say, oh, they don't have to say, I'm afraid to come to class, they're going to embarrass me or whatever.
no,
You just come on regardless of what happened or did not happen.
That is correct. That is correct. We just put them on the tail end. Somebody else taught your lesson. You're going to go and take their lesson on the tail end. So we just, in the scheme of life, if you don't learn to extend grace to others, then it won't be extended to you. So we keep that at the forefront of our family and our commitment to one another. And that's another thing, is that we feel so committed. And when someone is not going to be there, they let you know, we're not going to be here tonight, because it's a small group. So when they're not going to be there, we really miss them.
Right.
Really,
and it kind of keeps you accountable when you have somebody that's every week that you're looking forward to, and somebody's not there. You're like, we need to check in on so and so and make sure nothing's happening in the marriage, because stuff does happen. Now, also, I know that we have several other marriage groups at First Met. So if this group doesn't fit your fancy, we do have some other groups. If you would like to be a part, you would go on the website and look up community life groups. Is that correct?
You can go to the community life groups, and believe it or not, they have a summary theme of what each of those community lives group is all about. And I do know that we have another marriage couple that they've been around for a long, long time, and they have stuck together. And their name slipped my mind, but I know it's led by Sister Linda Burnett, I believe.
Right.
But that's
when you go on there, they'll have a list of all the different ones. You can look at the categories that you would like to. And if you have a group of friends and you want to start a new one, just let us know. We'll be happy to start a new one, get you set up with that. So so that's really great. Now, Sister Jackie, I know that you and your husband, Elder Al, and I really, really miss him on this show today, because I know he's doing grandparent duty,
grandpa
to help out.
Yes.
And so I think that's wonderful. Yeah, it's called Covenant Keepers. It's for Linda.
Covenant Keepers,
group.
right.
And there are others that maybe not as active as you guys right now, but from the standpoint of coming and bringing your couples together, are they excited about coming out, and what
they have all committed to come? We do have a couple that has a young baby that we're not really sure if they're going to be able to work out their babysitting arrangement, but all the other couples in that group says that they're coming, and we encourage that as we as we are transitioning and the First Met is changing, we always encourage them to come out and support whatever is on the First Met agenda. And that's one thing that we keep in the forefront of
Right.
our class, is that we are big supporters of First Met. We just love Pastor Johnny. We're excited about the journey that he is on. We are 100% behind him, and we encourage them. And they just
Amen.
naturally
Amen.
love him, you know.
Well, thank you so
Pastor
much for
Johnny is
sharing
so-
it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead. I wanted to also, before I forget, another one of our marriage leaders is over at Marriage Ministry is Michelle and Maurice Sanders. And I want to bring that in before we close, because they couldn't be here because they're in Cancun on, celebrating a special time together. So I want to make sure we get those names in there, because they have a wonderful group too. And I can't remember the name of it. I don't know. Do you know the name of their group, Sister Jackie?
I do not, but I
Yeah.
do know it's, she and Maurice come together once a month, and their theme too is on marriage. And they also use Right Now Media to support their efforts in making sure that couples are growing strong in their marriages and in their relationship with one another.
Yeah.
So we're glad that they are leading that reign and doing a great job in it, and they have our full support.
Amen. And so I wanted to also say that our leaders who teach, they are a couple. They've been married for, forgot how many years, but not that long, but they don't have children. So if you are looking to identify with a couple who is a strong marriage, they're very strong in the word, love each other. They do a lot of traveling together, a lot of things together, because there are no children in the home. And so then some of the leaders, or you'll find out, have blended families.
Right.
So I want you to think whether or not your children are out of the home, or little young children, or if you have no children, there's somebody there that you can identify. So Bishop, can you just kind of sum up for us what you are expecting and what people can expect from this conference? I know we want to go ahead and register. You register online. Let's get that in before I forget. You go to myfirstmet.com, and there's a link there and a QR reader that they can register. If you put it in the chat, if you're having problems, you're out of town. The good thing about this is that I believe we're going to be able to Zoom it, so that we can, if you're out of town, you can still be a part and learn from it. So yeah, here's a QR code reader here that Tisha has put up, $65 per couple, and it's in Houston, Texas. But contact us if you need help getting online, or getting, becoming a part. So Bishop, why don't you close us out, kind of tell us what we can expect here, and give us some parting words.
Yeah, you can expect, as has been said, a lot of fun, great fellowship, and a feeding of your marriage. You're going to be blessed beyond measure. And I want to go over the times. On Friday night, the meal starts at 6, and then the first session starts at 7. We should conclude on Friday night at 9 o'clock or shortly thereafter. And then on Saturday morning, you want to come, we'll have continental breakfast between 8 and 9, and then we'll kick off again all the different feeding and deposits and the fun and everything. And then we'll go just past the noon hour. So it's not going to be all day on Saturday, but I'm telling you, you're going to have so much fun. It's going to be a blessing. So we look forward to seeing you this coming Friday, the 10th, and Saturday, the 11th, at the XO conference.
Amen. Thank you, Bishop. And just want to also say, when you're there on 6 o'clock, don't be late, because we have activities going on in between the meals that morning for breakfast. We have activities. Bishop and I are answering questions and doing our part. So don't miss out and say, I don't want to eat, it's not just eating there. And the big thing I want to close out with, when we close out, we renew our vows. We recommit our marriages to the Lord. We recommit to one another. And so you're going to end up with that recommitment to God. It's very, very sacred, very, very solemn, but it's so much love in there that we're going to get you jumpstart off to starting again on working on your marriages and saying, I do again. And we too are going to work on becoming one in the eyes of the Lord. And we have a village around us that's going to help us stay together, stay married, because God has something great for your marriage. Don't throw in the towel. I'll see you Friday. That's this Friday at 6 o'clock, First Metropolitan Church, for a To Becoming One marriage conference with XOXO. I love you. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Bring your spouse and bring everyone you know. They don't want to miss this one. This is our love month. Let's kick it off with a bang and love everybody, especially our spouses. So bye for now. I'll see you next Sunday at 3 for Tea with Lady O. Bye-bye.